What's Fortnite?
Some Call of Duty trick shot.
Call of Duty. No, I
surprised. There's no way you don't know. Mr. Laverick, you need to say that at the end of your video.
people always say like,
It's like saying you don't know Minecraft.
It's like one of those 24.
people say like, oh, post that on TikTok. I was like, well, I would say, what's TikTok? That thing you put in your mouth, like freshen your breath? Oh, it's Tic Tac. Oh, sorry, it's Tic Tac. All right. So let's write an equation with these values. Yes. We're going to go over it together. So if you did not do this, or sorry, if you did not do your homework, you should be hanging on my every word. You should be listening to everything I say right now, because chances are you don't know what you're doing. So everybody should be doing this along with me right now. When I ask you to write an equation, the first thing that you do is figure out the slope, if it's not already given to you. Is the slope given to me? No. The slope is not given to me. Is there an m equals? No. Is there a slope is? No. Do I have a way to find it?
Yes.
Yes, I have 2 points. So let's start there. So remember that the slope formula is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Now let's plug the numbers in. 6 minus negative 4. y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. 3 minus 2. Okay, that's my slope, right? That was on your last test, right? 6 minus negative 4 is 10. 3 minus 2 is 1. So what is my slope? 10. Okay, now, to truly write the equation, you need the slope and a point. Now, which point should I pick? The one with the positives. Now, what if I picked 2 comma negative 4? Would that still work out correctly? Yes. It doesn't really matter which point you pick. I made the joke yesterday on the video that I like to stay positive. I like to use the coordinates with the positive numbers if there are ones. Sometimes there's no way around it. I've got to use negatives. But in my opinion, it's easiest when we pick the coordinate with the positive values. So I'm going to pick 3 comma 6, and I'm going to ignore 2 comma negative 4. I'm not going to use that anymore. I've already used it to find my slope. I've used it up. Now I'm going to take the 3 comma 6, because I just chose 3 comma 6. And I'm going to put it into point slope form. Now, point slope form was new yesterday. I get it. If you haven't learned that yet, I understand, but you should commit that to memory. Point slope form is y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. If you don't have that in your brain, you need to get that in your brain. That's not something that I will be providing for you on any quiz or test. That is something that should be up here. You will use that a lot. We will use this a lot this year. And a lot next year in geometry, you use point slope form a lot. So, what we're going to use it for here, I have my slope, I have my point. I'm going to put it into point slope form and then solve for y. Let's do it. Y. Oh, I don't want to write anymore. I've got y minus y1. What's my y1? 6, the y value of the coordinate. Remember, x and y stay there. The x1 and the y1 go away. The m is the 10. And then we have x minus what? 3. That's really the only new part from yesterday. Because what do we do from here on? Just solve for y. Just get y alone, which, I mean, we've been manipulating equations all year. Distribute into 10. 10x minus 30. And then we add the 6 to get y completely alone. So y is equal to 10x, and then negative 30 plus 6 is a negative 24. So minus 24. That's my equation. So that's how to take something from point-slope form into slope-intercept form. Given 2 points, this is the only line that will run through those 2 points. There doesn't exist another line that can run through those 2 points. This is the only line that will fit those 2 points. So that is yesterday in a nutshell. That's pretty much everything that we learned yesterday, all encompassed in one problem. So let's go over the homework. Okay. So you should have your homework out with you. I'm going to go over every question, so you should be correcting as we go. Numbers 1 through 7. Remember, it's 1 to 7 odd, 1 to 13 odd, 14 and 16. Numbers 1 through 7 are really quite easy. Why? Because I want them in point-slope form. Do I need to solve them for y in the end? No, I don't need to solve them for y in the end. So literally all I'm doing is just taking, now remember this is my point-slope form, y minus y1, m, x minus x1. I'm taking y minus 1 is equal to m, which is 2, and then x minus 2, and leaving it. That is in point-slope form. If you solved it for y, you're putting it into slope-intercept form. You're doing too much. For at least these ones. Let's do 3. Y minus a negative 4. Now, if I write minus a negative 4, what am I really going to write? Plus 4. Y plus 4 is equal to m, which is negative 6, x minus 7. 5. Same thing for 5. Y minus 0 is equal to negative 3, x minus 5, 6. And then 7, y plus 12 is equal to negative 2/5, x minus 5. Are there any questions 1 through 7? That should have been really simple. That should have been really easy. All I'm doing there is taking point slope and plugging in the information. That's all I'm doing. The difficult part comes next. So let's take a look at 9 and 11. Now, for 9 and 11, I'm given the graph and asked to find my slope-intercept. So now that the directions change, see, you have to read the directions. If you're not reading the directions, you're really not understanding what the problem is asking you. Write the equation in slope-intercept form. Should I end up solving for y? Yes, because this says write it into slope-intercept form, that y equals mx plus b form. Now, I still need to find my slope. But do I need to use the formula for this? No, because I've got a graph. So let's go up 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we will go to the right 2. What's my slope there? 4 over 2, so 2. Okay, so my m is 2. Let me ask you. Izzy, which point? No, that's okay. No, it's okay. You're just gonna help me. Help me help you. That's okay. She's got this. No, she's got this. Izzy, we got the slope is 2. Rise over run. Which point would you like to pick? Because you just pick one of them. 3, 1 or 1, negative 3. 3, 1. Okay.
Pardon the interruption. At this time, we would like the following groups and clubs to report to the main chair. Middle School Paint Club, Paintball Club.
Paint Club.
7th and 8th grade book club. Middle School and High Club students, Middle School Fellowship of Christian students, and that is also High School Fellowship of Christian students. Please go to the main gym now for your group picture. Thank you.
Okay, so, Izzy, we got 3 comma 1. Now, I'm going to say y minus what?
1,
Good. Is equal to,
2,
and then x minus,
3.
very good.
Oh,
Okay.
cool.
Now, I need to solve this for y. So I need to distribute it in. Distribute the 2. 2x minus 6. You follow me so far?
Yeah.
And then what solves this for y? What gets y completely alone?
Adding 1.
Very good. And that's my last step. Y is equal to 2x minus 5. See, not so bad. What questions do we have on number 9 there? Okay, let's do 11. Let's do 11. Same type of thing. Okay, let's first start off with our slope. Okay, we go down 2, and then we go right 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, now this one is a little bit more tricky because it's going to be a rise of 2 and a run of 4, so it's negative 2 over 4, negative 1/2. So my slope is negative 1/2. And what coordinate, Solomon, what coordinate would you like to choose here? Good, negative 2 comma 2. See, there's no way around of doing like a negative here because both of my coordinates have a negative in it. All right, negative 2 comma 2. Now, you may be thinking, well, what do you do with negative 6 comma 4? You ignore it from this point on. You're not going to use it again. So what's the use of it? Well, we had to find our slope with it. I guess that's the only thing. So now let's plug it in. Solomon, plug it in for me.
Y minus 2 equals negative 1/2. X minus negative 2 or plus.
There it is. Yeah. Remember that instead of saying minus and negative, if you go to say minus and negative, you should change it into plus. Okay? And now we just distribute with the negative 1/2. So we got y minus 2 is equal to negative 1/2 x. And then negative 1/2 times positive 2, well, that's a negative. 1/2 of 2 is 1. And now we add the 2 over to the other side. So I get y is equal to negative 1/2 x plus 1. Questions about that? Yeah.
You got a minus 1 for 2 times minus 1/2?
Yeah, because a negative times a positive is a negative.
Yeah.
And then 1/2 times 2.
Why does it not matter what coordinate you use?
So if I wanted to use the other coordinate, I'll show this on the whiteboard here. If I wanted to use the other coordinate, same slope, right? Negative 1/2 slope. Let's show that it doesn't matter. I'm going to use negative 6 comma 4. Y minus 4 is equal to negative 1/2 x plus 6. You follow me so far? Distribute the 1/2. So y minus 4 is equal to negative 1/2 x minus 3. Half of 6 is 3. Negative times positive is a negative. Add the 4. Y is equal to negative 1/2 x plus 1. Same answer. And also, look at the graph, people. Look at the graph. What's my y-intercept based on the graph? Look at the graph, everybody. Look at the graph.
Negative 1.
It's positive 1. Look, there's your y-intercept right there. Does that match my line? Yeah. So when you're given the ones that have the grid for you, that have the graph for you, see if the y-intercept that you found matches with the graph that you see. If it doesn't, you goofed. Do it again. Did something wrong. Okay. Any other questions on 11 now? So we got 13, 14, and 16 left. Let's take a look at 13. I'll put 13 over here. Let's take a look at 13. Now, this is just like the warm-up that we did. This is nothing different from the warm-up. So let me ask you, Noah, set up the slope formula for me.
Number 13.
Yeah.
12 minus 2.
Over?
2 minus 7.
Good. 12 minus 2 over 2 minus 7. Right? Y minus y over x minus x. Okay. 12 minus 2 is 10. 2 minus 7 is a negative 5. So I get a negative 2 as my slope. Noah, what point would you like to choose?
Top one. 12. Wait. Yeah.
Top one.
Or 2 minus, or 2 is 12.
This one?
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
Sorry.
That's okay. I didn't understand top. They're side by side. So 2 comma 12. Now the other option would pick 7 comma 2. It gets you the same answer either way. But I'll go 2 minus 12, or sorry, 2 comma 12. All right, now, well, Noah, set it up for me. Y
minus 2.
y minus y, 12. Y minus 12 is equal to m, which is negative 2, and then x minus what?
2.
There's my 2. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Distribute it in. Negative 2x plus 4. Watch out for that plus 4. Negative times a negative should be a positive. And then I'm going to add the 12 over to the other side. So y is equal to negative 2x plus 16. And there's my answer. Okay, I'm going to do 14 right here. Nick, set up the slope formula for me.
Negative 9 minus negative 9.
We are on 14, not 15. Oh, did you do 15?
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Let's do 14 together then.
All right.
Set up the slope formula for me. Can you see it up back there? I know it's kind of small.
Me?
Yeah.
1 minus negative 2.
Over?
12 minus 6.
Good. So 1 minus negative 2. Watch out for that. That's a 1 plus 2. So 3. 12 minus 6 is 6. So what does that reduce down to, Nick?
1/2.
Good. So m is 1/2. And then what coordinate would you like to pick? 12 comma 1. Keeping it positive. Okay, set it up in the point slope form for me.
Y minus 1 equals 1/2. And then x minus 12.
Very good. And then we solve. So y minus 1 is equal to 1/2 x minus 6. And then we add the 1. So y is equal to 1/2 x minus 5. Do you guys see how every problem is the same? Every single one of them. Find the slope, pick a point, plug it in, solve. That's why I stress to you repetition is key for this. You're not going to get it if you don't try. Let me point again back to this sign. Nothing will work unless you do. Nothing will work unless you do. This one right here. Get it? Like, it's not going to click if you're not trying. Okay? Take a look at 16. I'll go green. All right, now, who's going to help me with this? This one is going to be Sid. Set up the slope formula for me. M is equal to what? Sid. The slope formula. Y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1.
I don't know what this is.
Well, that's okay. We can do it fresh here.
N equals. Oh, I thought we were on 18.
Nope, we're on 16.
Negative 5.
M, y minus y. 13 minus 19. Y's on top. The negative 5 goes on the bottom. So 5 minus negative 5.
I'm so confused. I thought we were doing
Nope, we're doing 16. So the slope is going to be 13 minus 19 over 5 minus negative 5. Okay, so that's going to get me 13 minus 19 is a negative 6. 5 minus negative 5 is a 10. So it looks like negative 3/5. Okay, Sid. Negative 3/5. What coordinate would you like to pick? Negative 5 comma 19 or 5 comma 13? 5, 13. Staying positive. Now, let's set it up in point slope form, just like we did on the last two. Or y minus. Good. Negative 3/5. Good. That's half the battle, folks. Getting it to this point is the difficult piece. From here on, it's just distribution and solve. Distribute the negative 3/5, so y minus 13 is equal to negative 3/5 x. Negative times a negative is a positive. And then we have 3/5 times 5. Now, you maybe you're not good with fractions. You don't know what that means. 3/5 times 5. Oh, that's just 3. And now we add the 13 over to the other side. So it gives me y is equal to negative 3/5 x plus 16. Well, that was fun, wasn't it? That was the homework. Right. Now, the nice thing is that we are not doing anything new today. Okay? We have 4 problems on our guided notes for today. And guess what? We're doing the exact same process again. Now, you may see Henry said, well, why are we doing guided notes then? Because the presentation is a little different. The presentation, I'm giving you the material in a different way. See, we talked about it in terms of a graph. We talked about it in terms of 2 points. But now what we're going to look at is this whole function notation thing. Sure. Now we're going to talk about this whole function notation thing. Is the process still the same? Yes, exactly the same. The process is not changing. The presentation is changing. So let's take a look here. It says write a linear function f. Okay, that's going to come into play in a second. Write a linear function f with this stuff. Okay. So what is that first piece of information telling me? What is this telling me? We did this the other day. We've already done this. 4 comma negative 2. Good. This is telling me that we have the coordinate 4 comma negative 2. Right? Input 4, output negative 2. What is this 8, f of 8 equals 4 telling me? 8 comma 4. Oh, wow. So now we have the exact same type of problem that we had on questions 13, 14, and 16 of our homework. The last 3 that we just went over, including the warm-up. This is the type of question that we have right now. The nice thing is that we had it provided for us in function notation. We turned it into coordinates, and now the process is exactly the same. Okay, first thing must be to find my slope then. y2 minus y1. 4 minus negative 2 over x2 minus x1. 8 minus 4. 4 minus negative 2 is a positive 6. 8 minus 4 is 4. Reduces to 3 over 2. Now, what coordinate would we like to pick? 8, 4. Stop saying over.
Oh, my bad.
8, comma 4. 8, comma 4. Now, could I have chosen 4, comma negative 2? Sure. It would have gotten me the exact same thing, but let's choose 8, comma 4. Y minus 4 is equal to 3 halves x minus 8. Distribute. Okay, this is y minus 4 is equal to 3 halves x, and then 3 halves times 8 is a minus 12. Multiply the top, divide by the bottom. 3 times 8 is 24, divided by 2 is 12.
That's what you do. So no one ever told me that.
Wait,
Say what?
how do you get 12?
3 over 2 times 8, right?
You multiply it?
Multiply the top, divide by the bottom.
So you do a fraction. What? No one has ever taught me that, but that's kind of cool.
Hey, no one does that?
No?
That's
Sure.
crazy.
That just makes it 10 times.
Whole number times a fraction. Multiply the top by divided by the bottom.
That just makes it 10 times easier.
Yeah,
No, I could have done that my entire life.
Hey. What was I going to say?
Wait, I think I'm
He's going to say something. I forget.
Uh,
Okay, let's keep going.
Shut up and eat your money.
Add 4 to both sides. 3 halves x minus 8. You simplify later, as long as it's the final answer. Now, I boxed that answer. What should I really change it into? F of x. I should really change it into f of x is equal to 3 halves x minus 8. Now, again, I said it yesterday, I'll say it again, or not 2 days ago. I'll say it again. For our purposes here, if you got to the 3 halves x minus 8, I'm good. But if it says to write a function, we should be formal, we should write a function. Questions about that?
Why does the 8 look like that?
When I write a lot on one page, it gets kind of glitchy.
It's really hard to draw.
But when I go to so this one, when I do this problem on this page, it's going to be a little bit laggy. Oh, sorry, you needed that a little bit more.
Serious lagging
Okay, let's take a look at the next one. I'm going to start explaining it while we're finished writing this down. Write a linear function f with the values. Again, it's the exact same thing. I'm not changing the presentation out. It's the exact same thing. So we go back to this and we say, well, that must mean that we've got the coordinate 8, comma, negative 1, and then 6, comma, 0. Now, let me ask you. Is that the y-intercept? No. Be careful. Somebody said last period, wait a sec, can't I know now that 6 is my b?
No, because it's flipped.
It's flipped. If it was 0, comma, the number, then we could, we don't even need to worry about that whole point slope thing. If I gave it to you at 0, comma, 6, just go straight to your answer. B value is 6, find your slope, plug it in. But because this is an x-intercept, I do have to go through that whole process. Now, it's actually going to make it easier when we choose the x-intercept, and I'll show you here in a second. M is going to be equal to 0 minus a negative 1 over 6 minus 8. 0 minus negative 1 over 6 minus 8. So this is a positive 1 over negative 2. So M is equal to negative 1/2. Let's choose 6, comma, 0. Let's choose 6, comma, 0, because I'll tell you, having the intercept, even though it's not the y-intercept, it's the x-intercept, having the x-intercept is actually kind of nice here, because look at the left side, it's going to be y minus 0 is equal to negative 1/2 x minus 6. And then what happens on my left side? I don't need to have the minus 0, I just y. So negative 1/2 x, and then we distribute here, negative times a negative is a positive, half of 6 is 3. I do that same trick. 1 times 6 is 6, divided by the denominator, 2, 3. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to do with that to fill out.
Probably not do very well now. All right, questions about that one? Let's just do one more.
Oh, you didn't change it to f of x.
Oh, thank you. What would I do without you, Noah?
Yeah.
What would I do without you? F of x is equal to negative 1/2 x plus 3.
I don't think he cares enough.
What did you just say?
I think you'd still be doing your job if Joe wasn't there. I don't really think it would make a difference.
All right, let's take a look here. Let's make this one our last one. F of -4 is equal to -5, and f of 2 is equal to -7. Okay, that means again, we've got -4 comma -5, and then 2 comma -7. Right? That's the notation telling me that those are the coordinates. That's a semicolon? All right, so m is going to be equal to -7 minus a -5. Watch out for this. -7 minus a -5. There's a lot of negatives going on. Be careful. Over 2 minus -4. Okay, -7 minus -5. -7 minus -5. -2. No.
That's lame.
I almost went over.
One time, in 6th grade, somebody fell asleep in our science class. I still remember. It was Mr. Pepper. Mr. Pepper science class.
Oh, I had.
Yeah, actually, you might have had
I love
Mrs. Pepper.
peppers.
So this was Mr. Pepper. It was 6th grade science, right? Somebody fell asleep. They were like out.
Wait, wasn't it like a basketball coach or something?
Yeah. He was also like a school
What's the
science teacher.
recording?
Yeah, I know. Somebody fell asleep, and this person was out, and so we got everybody else out of the room. Like we all crept out of the room, and then he slammed the door, and the person was like, and nobody was there, and then they just packed up their books and tried to leave, and then we were all saying,
Oh, wait, I'm confused.
Ended up leaving
I
like
thought,
this.
I think I
Yeah.
tuned out the first half.
What is it?
-7 minus 5 would have been -12. -7 minus -5 gets us a -2. Yeah. Thank you, Nick, for getting us back to math. I appreciate that. So 2 minus -4, that would be a +6. So -1/3 is my slope. -1/3 is my slope. Sid.
I'm not saying that you're wrong. Like, I know that you're right, but like if I would have done that with my calculator, like -7 minus -5, I would have taken half.
Here's what I would say then. If you're trying to do this without a calculator, turn that into a big plus sign. Because a negative and a negative should be a positive, right? So then that is -7 plus 5, which would get us the -2. All right. What coordinate would we like to choose? Negative. I heard Brennan said -4, -5. It was his birthday yesterday, so we'll say m is -1/3. We've got -4, -5. So this gets us a y plus 5. Catch that, plus 5, because it would have been a minus a -5. -1/3 x plus 4. Now, here's the deal. When I go and distribute, you're going to see something happen here. I've got y plus 5 is equal to -1/3 x minus 1/3 times 4. Oops, that's 13. 1/3 times 4. That is 1.3. I can put this as a decimal because that's going to end up being my y-intercept. Could I have put my slope as a decimal? Definitely not. But because this is my y-intercept, I don't mind. So y is equal to -1/3 x, and then this would have been a minus 6.3. In function notation, -1/3 x minus 6.3. Okay? Plus 5 because this was a y minus a negative 5. I think it's in there. Okay. Is that it? Okay. So you are allowed to give me a decimal as the y-intercept, but not as the slope. The only exception to that being a word problem. Then you could give me a slope as a decimal. Just to show you guys that you do have another online assignment. Did I say this earlier this period?
Yes.
Okay, good. So it's already there. It's already looks like it's due tomorrow by the end of school.
That's our homework for tonight.
That's your homework for tonight.
Do tomorrow by the end of school?
Due tomorrow by the time you get in class, but I have 8 periods, so I gotta pick one. Make sure it goes all the way to the end of it.
But Mr. Lavin, just in case I turn it in like
It's the video.
the class period.
Due tomorrow by class time. All right. So long, everybody at home. Just like homework.